matchup. Here's Dick.
All right, Marv, thank you very much. And we are tied at 6 early on with 8:22 remaining in the first quarter as Nate McMillan trying to see if his Sonics can make it 2-0 against Rick Adelman, who's had to make the adjustments in this game in what was billed to be an entertaining contest in Game 1. And that turned out to be a grueling game. Both teams a bit unsettled, Mike, because of the injured players just coming back for both teams.
Well, Brad Miller's getting the start tonight because the last game, they needed presence, somebody to spread the court for them, try and get Bibby and Stojakovic better shots. And they need somebody to help on the boards, a bigger body.
And here's one of the big bodies, Miller, who lays it in. Brad Miller, who came off the bench at the end of the year, returned after missing the last 19 games with a broken foot, and the Kings are going to definitely need him. Kings lead it 8-6. And Rashard Lewis looking in for Jerome James, and what a surprising big performance he had in game number 1. And he's picking up where he left off. He's done the job off the board. And James, who had 17 points and 15 rebounds, a big force for the Sonics in game number 1.
Again, we see Mobley bringing the ball up the court against Ray Allen, trying to make Ray Allen have to work with the defensive end of the floor, try and take some of his legs away from the offensive end.
Luke Rittenauer, who hit his first field goal, tried to get it into Evans, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. So Rittenauer, who was 0 for 6 on Saturday, has hit a basket, as has Mike Bibby, who was 1 for 16 in the opening game of the series.
Well, you know Bibby's not going to come back with another 1 for 16 now. He's a great shooter. It's just a matter of now just getting that first layup, gets the monkey off his back, and try to settle him down.
And here is James quickly putting it up. Here's a guy that averaged only 4 field goal attempts in the regular season, had 20 shots in game number 1, and a former player with the Sacramento Kings, and they decided they didn't need him anymore. And he came back to haunt them as Miller hits the open shot.
Why Miller's out there to spread the floor, trying to create the space, and James is falling back off him, trying to protect the paint. But at this end of the floor, James is a presence because they're having to come double team every time Lewis catches the ball against Stojakovic in the low post.
Ray Allen off the screen, and Allen has scored 2 points thus far, and he led.
And that was a great pass by Bibby that was just fumbled by Thomas, took his eye off the ball.
Allen leading the Sonics with 28 points. And a tough assignment tonight. And it's got right now Bibby guarding Allen. And a defensive 3-second violation called against the Sacramento Kings. So it'll be a free throw and possession out. Dick Stockton along with Mike Dunleavy and Susie Schuster with you here at the Key Arena. And Rick Adelman trying to get the Kings back. But he knows that rebounding is the essence of this game. And his team has been out-rebounded by the Sonics in the regular season when Seattle won 3 out of 4 games.
Well, the Sonics are one of the best offensive rebound teams in the league, and that's where they're having their problems. Last night, last game, they had big problems until they put Ostertag and Brad Miller in the game together, and that's when they staged a comeback.
Ostertag, who has really been an enigma for this team throughout the year, played 17 big minutes and helped bring Sacramento back when they were down by 21. Rashard Lewis missing, fighting for the rebound over the top. And they're going to call the foul. And let's see if Reggie Evans gets called for it, and he does. And Nate McMillan questions the call.
Well, the shot goes up here by, mid-range shot, and then it looks like Thomas comes over the back of Evans. But you got to watch these big guys down there. They're pretty tricky. Who got who first? Bennett Salvador's liable to pick up the first foul.
Many times it's the guy who comes back with the counterpunch, so to speak, who gets called. Bibby off the screen, and James with another rebound. So James already with 3 rebounds and 2 points, and having a big game 1.
Mike Bibby's getting great shots. He just hasn't knocked him down. He doesn't have his confidence back yet.
No, and he had some open looks. It wasn't only the defense that cut him down in game number 1. Here's Rittenauer, tries to pass it and does inside to Evans, and the foul is called. Seattle has some bruisers inside. They're not prolific scorers, but they can bang the glass.
Well, that's Miller's second foul. That's going to be a big problem for Sacramento. They're going to have to go to their bench.
Miller playing only 8 minutes in game number 1, had 7 points and 4 rebounds. Sacramento has a big...
The 2005 NBA Playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. By Chrysler, inspiration comes standard. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by Reebok.
It's the playoffs. You know, you go through a regular season and basically try to prepare yourself for this moment. And me coming from the background that I came from, I have a total, complete understanding of how important this moment is in my life. So I want to take full advantage of it. I mean, I wanted to come out and basically leave everything on the floor.
So Jerome James, who played 1 year with the Kings, they told him to find another line of work with 17 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks, 3 coming early, and a big plus for the Sonics. And for more of that, let's go to Susie Schuster.
Well, Dick, he remembers so well the day that Rick Adelman called him into his office. It was October 30th, 2000, and he thought he was a member of the Kings. Instead, he was told maybe to find another line of work. He was given his belongings in a plastic bag and escorted to the door. And he said when he got home that night, he looked at his stuff on the floor in a plastic bag and said, I got bills to pay. I got to work hard. I got to recreate my career. And he sure has done that here.
Well, if they had given him a good suitcase, maybe it would have been a nicer departure for him, Mike. But here's a guy who played with the Harlem Globetrotters before he joined the NBA, and, of course, the last couple of years playing in Europe.
But right now he's getting a lot of opportunities off of the double teams, the attention that Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis are getting.
Evans misses the free throws, and here is Bibby going strong to the hoop and then ridden out by Rittenauer. Greg Ostertag with an early appearance tonight for the Sacramento Kings. Played the last 17 minutes of the game on Saturday and made an impact as the Kings rallied and nearly overtook the Sonics. And Ostertag is blocked inside by Evans, and Rittenauer on the break goes behind with the pass. Not a nifty pass, but Evans keeps his composure and gets the lay-in.
Rittenauer made a great steal right there, and he was coming down the floor, and he had Jerome James on the left side open, but he made a decision not to pass it to him, worried about giving the ball to a big man on the move. They get the end result is a score.
All 5 Sonic starters have scored, and driving in is Thomas off the glass. Thomas, who came over with Corliss Williamson and Brian Skinner in the Weber trade with Philadelphia, and a good play by Evans out to Allen. Misses from inside the three-point line. The ball knocked away, and already, Mike, we can see that this game's going to be a lot more wide open than the opening game of the series.
Well, it's interesting. He had a fast break opportunity where Seattle did not score. They ranked like 26th in the league in fast break points. They didn't do a very good job in the open court.
And coming off the bench will be Vladimir Radmanovic, and he'll be coming into the game. And nice look for Radmanovic.
He must have lost the bet.
Yes, he has his hair. His sister actually wove braids into his hair before game number 1. And, of course, they had to be bound with rubber bands. And Dave McMillan does not allow a headband to be worn on his team. And I asked before the game, maybe he could waive that rule just for Vladimir Radmanovic. He said he could not.
That really has to test your fortitude on something like this.
Tests your viewing ability if you're in the crowd. In any event, under 4.5 to play in the first quarter. Sonics lead the Kings by 3. Here is Bibby leaving it for Thomas. He'll take the wide open shot and hit.
He can make that 17-footer, and that's what they need. They need somebody, one of their bigs, to step up, make shots, to make the space on pick and rolls to either get Bibby or Mobley open.
So the Sonics, who got off to a big start in game number 1 as the Kings missed their first 10 from the field, and this has been a tight game early on, and the Kings have actually had a lead by a couple. Here is Allen slicing his way in and is fouled. Well, talk about Ray Allen and his shooting ability, his improved rebounding, but he goes to the strike. He was 9 for 10 from the line in game number 1.
Well, what happens right here is, first of all, Ray Allen gets a great catch, in triple threat position, puts the ball on the floor left, attacks the rim, has great body control in order to draw the foul.
And you drafted him.
I did. Great shooter, and we had a low post presence in Milwaukee and Vin Bake at the time, that we felt like the spacing would be there and he'd get shots, and he's proved to be that type of great shooter.
And he's got an acting career as well, and I think you ought to be proud of that selection. It's easy to say, yeah, I like Ray Allen, but you're the one that actually said I want him.
He's a terrific young man, and actually, all facets of his game, ball handling and passing, much better than we thought coming out of college.
Sonics by 3. And so far, Bibby has 2 points on 1 for 3 shooting, so he hasn't been sharp from that department. Peja Stojakovic, who was the leading scorer with 24 in game 1, hits his first field goal.
Big guy's got to step up on that and stop that curl by Stojakovic.
And it's been kind of a quiet crowd with under 3.5 to play. Sonics finished at 52 and 30. And the Kings were 50 and 32. Rittenauer high off the glass, taken down by Thomas with 3:10 remaining in the first.
Presence of Ostertag made him shoot that high runner.
Bibby faking the shot, cutting in is Stojakovic. Misses the shot.
Well, that was a great pass by Bibby.
And the three by Rashard Lewis.
So 5-point turnaround on that missed layup by Stojakovic. The Sonics come the other way and get a wide open three in the corner for Rashard Lewis.
And Lewis, one of those players coming back from injury, missed 8 games late in the season with a right foot contusion. Just getting back into the flow of things. And here is Thomas with a good move. Kenny Thomas, who had 10 in game 1.
Thomas is a small power forward, but he can make the shot and put the ball on the floor.
Radmanovic doing what he does best. One of the top 3-point shooters on this team. And the Sonics are up now by 4. And Thomas tips it in at the other end, and this is an end-to-end first quarter game.
Well, Mobley's penetration was great. He had 3 guys come to him, try and block. He missed it, and then follow-up was there.
So it looks like, Mike, that these teams needed a game just to get used to this playoff picture, and now playing a lot looser and a lot more wide open and more fluid.
Well, they're great shooters. You knew it would not last.
7 on the shot clock, under 2 minutes remaining. Radmanovic way off balance. Scores anyway, 5 since Radmanovic has come in.
All right, take it back about the hairdo.
I like the way he's shooting. I still don't know about the hair.
Well, it's keeping it out of his eyes. He's able to make shots now.
Reverse lay-in by Bibby, and it's a 2-point Sonic lead. And we'll have the offensive foul, and they're going to call Evans for the offensive foul.
I thought Mike did a great job right there. He might get an Academy Award next year.
Yeah, it's early now, and a lot more movies to come out before we really know who the top candidates are. Timeout. We saw the Space Needle, and we're seeing a lot of space. Seattle, Sacramento, game 2.
Were you talking to me? I was too busy looking at Antonio Daniels' championship ring with the Spurs in 98-99. He actually showed it around the locker room before game 1. When Rittenauer tried it on, his hand almost fell off. Jerome James tried it on, it fit over his pinky to right around here. And then also Vladimir Radmanovic, he tried it on. He said, I almost had to cut my hand off to get the ring off. It's quite impressive. He used it for motivation. They win, they get their own.
Don't put it in your pocketbook, whatever you do.
Antonio Daniels would have definitely cut his hand off.
Yeah. Antonio Daniels with San Antonio Spurs knows what a championship is all about, and both of these teams look for that, but realistically, for the Sonics, who are in the playoffs for the first time in 3 years, and Sacramento, which has seen a lot of close calls. They've been a bridesmaid for so many years, getting to the Western Finals once, leading 3-2 against the Lakers a couple of years ago, and then lost it. Peja Stojakovic from outside. Danny Fortson is into the game, and for Fortson, in his first playoff in his long career, went 402 games without getting into postseason. 3rd longest streak.
Right now, he's in there to hit the offensive boards. That's what he does best for them.
And Radmanovic hitting a 3. That earlier 3 was changed to a 2-point basket. But he has hit all 3 from the field and has 6 points, as Coutinho Mobley will make it. Bobby Jackson comes right back.
You know, Rick Adelman's happy to see that. One of his point guards banged down an open shot.
That's what the team really needs to depend on. Fortson has his shot blocked by Ostertag, and the outlet to Jackson. He has Radmanovic to beat, but flips to Thomas. Gets his own rebound. Jackson from the corner. And there was an opportunity the Kings saw go by the board.
Well, they just didn't get the numbers they needed, and to attack the rim, and Thomas did the right thing, I think, by moving it out. I think Jackson, after making his last jump shot, decided to take another.
Under a half a minute remaining, here is Vladimir Radmanovic, and off the glass, Collison getting the rebound and fouled. Right now, the bench is in there. Ray Allen is a starter, of course, but Daniels, Collison, Radmanovic in there, as well as Danny Fortson, and Nick Collison will go to the line to shoot 2. The foul is called against Greg Ostertag.
Ostertag did a good job the last time down the floor, blocking the shot. He's clogging up the paint. We got Fortson the first time, and then just came down with his arms on top of Collison.
So Collison, a very heady player, according to Nate McMillan. On the free throw line. And makes the first. Tomorrow night on TNT, the Spurs host the Nuggets in Game 2 of their series, followed by Game 2 between the Grizzlies and the Suns. as Denver upsetting San Antonio in Game 1 and Phoenix defeating Memphis. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on TNT. 2 free throws by Collison, a 4-point Sonic lead. Final seconds of the opening quarter. Into the hands now of Mobley.
Adelman brought back Miller in with 2 fouls, but there's just one last possession just to space the court.
And for the offense, and hoping that there's no offensive foul, and there is Mobley for a 2 off the rim. And that wasn't really the shot that the Kings would have wanted to set up when they had plenty of time.
No, Radmanovic did a good job defensively on him, just squared him up. Mobley should have been able to beat him off the dribble, but he didn't like the spacing and wound up shooting a backup 3.
So Vladimir Radmanovic, who missed the last 19 games with a stress fracture of his right leg, and scoring 6 points on 3 for 3 shooting at the end of one quarter here at Key Arena. The Seattle Sonics lead the Sacramento Kings 26-22. The Seattle Sonics lead the Sacramento Kings 26-22. Vladimir Radmanovic, only 13 minutes, missed the 1-3 he attempted coming back from injury, but what a first quarter.
He was terrific. You know, he came into the game and he gets a wide open, almost 3-point look. He stroked that one in, and then makes a hard move to his left, off balance, and a wide open jumper along the baseline. 3 for 3 for him is something that they need as far as to be able to space the court.
So Radmanovic will remain in the game. Antonio Daniels with him. Luke Rittenauer has come in at the other guard position with Nick Collison and Danny Fortson. For the Kings, it'll be Jackson and Mobley at guard. Brad Miller stays in the game, so obviously he's feeling a lot better. He does have the brace, however, on his leg. And also in the game for the first time is Darius Sangala. There is the brace on the left foot. And Maurice Evans making his first appearance in the series for the Kings.
Well, neither one of these teams have anybody really on the floor that's a post-up player. So it's basically who can make jump shots. And, you know, the more open looks they get, the better off they'll be.
Daniels, defended by Jackson, and Fortson setting a good pick for him. And the rebound taken down by Coutinho Mobley. Jackson and Miller picked up by Radmanovic. And you're right, no one inside for the Kings. And Evans will fire a 3 way off the mark.
Rittenauer did a great job of throwing him off balance by stunting to him on the pass.
But the Kings look a little out of sync on offense.
But like I said, neither team, you know, they need to get in the open court, get easy scores, because they're not going to get post-ups.
Here's a chance right now. Evans going up and misses the layup. And the pass out to Rittenauer. What much more of a wide-open game tonight in Game 2. Collison trying to set the screen for Rittenauer. Will drive in. Good feed to Danny Fortson in the basket. Good play by Collison to set it up.
Very nice read. The defense came over to help, and he dropped a soft pass off to Fortson. Pretty easy score.
So Collison in his rookie year from Kansas had been injured. And the biggest lead of the game, the feed inside to Evans going out to Sangala. And Evans with the offensive rebound, knocked away.
Rittenauer's shown great hands. That's about the third strip he has.
And Rittenauer with the hook shot. Radmanovic getting the offensive rebound. And here's Collison. And the fight underneath between Fortson and Miller. And the foul will be called against Danny Fortson. It'll be a loose ball foul. And I'll tell you, Rittenauer looks like he has grown ages from playing in his first game, a little tentative to the way he's been tonight.
No, he's very aggressive, and you know he makes very good decisions with the ball. He's got good quickness, and you know his deal right now is he's to set up everybody else, try to get them to clean looks.
And a tough assignment for Luke Rittenauer in his second year to be the point guard on this team. And he's handled it tremendously as Seattle won the division title in the Northwest. And no basket, the foul before the shot on Evans. And they get Collison on the personal foul.
Miller looks like he's limping a little bit out on the floor right now. Not as mobile as he want to be right here. Again, he puts the ball on the floor. Collison extends his arms and picks up the foul, but you know Miller looks like he's favoring his leg a little bit. I know Rick Adelman was a little worried about the minutes that he might have to play tonight.
And Adelman telling us before the game, he says we are a totally different team when Mike Miller is on the floor and when he is right. Brad Miller and Jackson getting the basket in the foul. So Bobby Jackson getting the field goal. Here's another player coming back who missed 57 games with the wrist surgery this year. And Adelman saying he really didn't even know what he had as the season was going on. And then, of course, the trade with the Weber deal in Philadelphia.
You know, Jackson's been such a great spark off the bench for them, both offensively and defensively. But it's hard to get your timing when you come back so late in the year and not have a lot of practice time.
But a close game. The Sonics leading 28-25. 2 minutes gone by here in the second.
Again, basically no low post game. Everything is going to be off of penetration.
Daniels used the screen by Collison effectively.
Did a nice job of freezing the defense once he got into the paint and then pulling up for the short jump shot.
And Bibby using the pick and roll from Sangaila. Miller at the top. 5 on the shot clock. And the three-point attempt by Jackson taken down by Collison. So a 5-point Sonic lead. Bibby gambles for the steal. So does Brad Miller. And the Sonics trying to take advantage of numbers here. But Rittenauer misses an open shot from the baseline. And now it's 2-on-2 the other way. Bibby will fire a 3, and that's off the mark. He still hasn't found it.
Mike doesn't have his outside game yet. He doesn't have the confidence. You can see he's tentative when he pulled up and made that shot.
And Rittenauer looking for the driving Danny Fortson, and he is fouled.
Rittenauer's done a very nice job of orchestrating his offense. You know, he's shown great patience coming off and delivering the ball, getting the guys to put the ball in spots where they can attack the rim or get clean jump shots.
Sangaila committing the foul with under 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And a chance when we get back for the Sonics to open up their biggest lead of the game. Game 2, best of 6. And it's time now for Bud Lights around the league. And it's the top rebounding performances thus far in the playoffs. And there you see 2 of the Sonics with their 15 rebounds, Reggie Evans and Jerome James. And Ray Allen had 10 as well, and that's been the story of that game and so far of this game, Mike.
Yeah, well, the Sonics are a +6 in this game right now, and you got Sacramento shooting 36% from the field. They're lucky not to be down more than 5 points.
And they have it edged by 5 on the offensive glass as well. And Danny Fortson on the line. Peja Stojakovic and Rashard Lewis come in. And they will be battling each other as Fortson makes good on the free throw. Here's Ray Allen coming back into the game. Allen scoring 5 points early on 1 for 3 shooting. And a hand for Luke Rittenauer, who has 3 assists thus far and has really handled the club very well.
He's done a very nice job of orchestrating the flow of this game for the Sonics.
At both ends of the floor, playing well.
Yeah, he made 3 strips down in the paint against baskets that should have been layups.
1 out of 2 for Fortson. 6-point lead, matching the biggest lead the Sonics have enjoyed. Lewis did a good job on Stojakovic, despite the fact he was the scoring leader.
Ray Allen did a great job there of switching the rotation.
And Jackson going backdoor.
Again, that's what Brad Miller brings to the party right there. Great backdoor pass. He does such a great job of reading the defenses and making nice plays for easy scores.
Kings trailing the Sonics by 4. Radmanovic coming off the screen, and it goes for him. Looked like it might go out, a 2-point basket, and Radmanovic has 8 points on 4 for 5 shooting.
Well, that one was down, came out, went right back in. That was a great roll for him.
And Bibby still not able to go, but the follow by Peja Stojakovic. Stojakovic has 4, but Bibby continues to struggle in a way, 2 of 6 from the field. Antonio Daniels, guarded by Bibby.
Right now, they're continuing to try and run Ray Allen and Radmanovic off multiple screens.
Daniels runs his man into the screen, and Antonio Daniels with the field goal. He totally lost Bibby on the pickup front.
Well, what's happened is that they're forcing it over where they can't use the pick, so he's forcing it kind of on the baseline side, and the big man wasn't there to step up and protect him on that. So Jackson looked over his shoulder like, where's my help?
There you see Bibby's numbers thus far, and they're going to need his outside shooting. He is the go-to guy for the Kings. This time he goes in and feeds Sangaila off the rim, and with nearly 5 minutes going by, it's a 35-29 lead. Sonics look very sharp so far.
Sacramento just they've missed a lot of wide open shots. That was a good delivery by Bibby versus the protection they were trying to afford him against the mismatch.
And Allen loses Jackson for the moment, cannot make the field goal. Meanwhile, Sacramento at 38%. Both teams were under 40% shooting in the first game. Good feed from Bibby to Miller for the basket.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need to come up with some easy scores right here, try and generate that offense and give them the kind of confidence to take it just to another level.
And the basket counts. Fortson gets the field goal and a foul. When you see a team, Mike, that is missing shots open, do you feel, well, that's not bad because we're getting open shots and sooner or later they'll drop, or do you worry?
Well, the first thing is you want to get good looks at the basket, but secondly, you got to, at some point, they got to start making them, otherwise the pressure just mounts. Radmanovich right now, he's made a bunch of shots. He draws the defense to him, makes a nice pass to Fortson for the easy layup.
And the foul was against Brad Miller, his second personal foul. And here is Danny Fortson, who has been with 5 teams in 8 years and trying to open up the biggest lead of the game for Seattle. What a job their bench has done. They came in with a edge off the bench, and they're showing it here. The bench has scored 20 points and 10 rebounds. And there you see the 7 for the Kings and a 38-31 lead.
Again, Miller running out of the high post. Get the mismatch off the dribble to Bibby.
And Bibby didn't have enough on that shot. So Bibby now 2 for 7. Nearly halfway through this second quarter. Dick Stockton, Mike Dunleavy, Susie Schuster with you here at the Key Arena in Seattle. Crowd wanted Radmanovich to take the 3. But Allen will. And fighting for the rebound, Rashard Lewis. Great hustle by Lewis. And Fortson tries to save it, but it is out of bounds. Last touch. But the crowd has to appreciate the hustle for the loose balls by Seattle.
It was great hustle by Fortson. I mean, for them to get big man like that to get down on the floor, dive on the loose ball, is extra special. You see right here, the shot goes up, misses it. Lewis gets the ball loose. He goes down first. He slaps it to Fortson. He corrals it. And he tries to throw it to big guys. You can't try. You gotta just take a timeout. Take a 20-second right there, big fella.
7-point lead for the Sonics, trying to make it 2-0 against the Kings.
Hey, we got to tighten up on our defense, too. We're too loose. We're allowing these guys to just run in here freely. Put your body in front of them, okay? Make them run through you. And I got to grab. We come together, we switch. But we can't step to the side and allow them to just go through the paint freely.
What Nate's doing there, he's warning his guys about being complacent on their switches. He said, these guys are great shooters. They come off these screens. You either have to switch, and then if on the switches, you got to box out. You cannot let them roam in for offensive rebounds or easy shots.
And there's Daniels making the steal, and Collison cleaning up. And a 9-point lead for the Sonics, 40-31. And right now, Bibby is not himself. He is not comfortable. Here's Bobby Jackson short with the 3, and it comes down to Allen. And the Sonics with a chance to open up a bit here. Sacramento, little not sure of things as Allen lays it in. Ray Allen going strong to the hoop for 7.
Great take by Ray Allen. He saw Bibby on him, and he felt like I can go over Bibby and get this score. And Mike Bibby coming back the other way says, I got Ray Allen. I'm quicker than he is off the dribble.
Meanwhile, Bibby fouled on the offensive end. Not a shooting situation by Allen.
Ray sees the paint open. He's going to attack the rim, tries to make the contact with Sangala, but has the concentration to finish. And then comes right back the other end. You know, Bibby pushed it right back after a score and made the same attack the other way and picked the foul up on Ray Allen.
Ray Allen with 28 in game number 1, and Allen has the Key Arena. The Sonics leading by 11, their biggest lead thus far. Tomorrow night on NBA TV, the Wizards meet the Bulls in game 2 of their series. Coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, Bibby, Mobley, and Stojakovic are a combined 6 of 19 from the field. That'll help the percentage as Peja hits from outside, and it's now under 10.
The difference so far in this game, and the story of the benches, the Sacramento bench is giving, he gave 7 points versus 22 for the Sonics. That's the big discrepancy right now that Rick Allen has to be worried about.
And they knew going in that the Kings did not have a potent bench to begin with. And here's Allen with the crossover, driving in. Pretty play by Ray Allen, who has 9. Radmanovic with 8 as top scorers for Seattle.
Well, you see, neither one of these teams have a shot blocker, so you can take the ball to the basket and attack the rim without being afraid of getting it blocked.
And we have a holding foul on Rashard Lewis, his first.
See, right here, goes behind his back. He dribbles by him, by Brad Miller, gets to the rim. Nobody's there. He just has a concentration to make a finish. Both these teams want to be in attack mode to the rim. Once you get past your individual defender, then there's nobody going to be there that should make it you pay the price.
That was the 15th foul against Seattle there, and the penalty in here is Peja Stojakovic, one of the better free throw shooters in the league. Stojakovic was third in the NBA at 92%. And right now, let's see what's on TNT.
I don't know who you think you are, but we were assigned this case by Captain Taylor.
There's been a change of plans. Once I get to work and they see me in action, they'll have a whole list of other reasons to hate my guts.
And the free throw made by Stojakovic. Brad Miller goes to the bench, scoring 6 points on 3-for-4 shooting. And our first look at Corliss Williamson, who returns to the Kings. Second tour of duty, was involved in that Chris Webber trade. Brian Skinner and Thomas in there as well. Skinner has not played in this one after starting in game 1. A block put up by Thomas. Daniels behind the line with 5 on the shot clock. Has to put it up. And here comes Sacramento with Bibby.
Well, neither one of these teams really made jump shots. Radmanovic made a few for Sac, but nobody for Sonics. There's Bibby stepping up big. That's what they need to see in Sacramento. Mike Bibby step up and make some open jumpers.
Absolutely, and Rick Adelman is hoping that will get him underway and get into rhythm. Right now, Allen defended by Mobley. James, who has only played 8 minutes, coming back in the game, and a three-pointer. Three-point field goal by Allen. He has 12, and that's his first three-pointer of the game.
See, defensively, they're forcing Allen baseline. His defender cannot let him come back over the pick and get that shot off.
Bibby goes in and fouled, so Bibby going straight to the rim, and the foul will go to the line. So Ray Allen off to a big start again tonight.
But right here, Ray Allen is in the corner. His defender, Mobley, is supposed to be forcing baseline down to the big. The big is down there trying to protect there, and he lets him back over the pick, and he bangs down the open three.
But Allen then commits the foul, his second, and sending Bibby to the free throw line. In a 10-point game, 47-37 in favor of Seattle. Game 3 of the series will be played at the Arco Arena in Sacramento on Friday, and Game 4 Sunday in Sacramento. Mike Bibby has made some clutch shots in the playoffs, and of course they helped Arizona win the national championship back in '97.
Forget that. He got me 2 times this year on less second shots. The guy's a killer.
All right, let's send it over to Susie.
Nick, Mike Bibby watched his good friend Tracy McGrady sink the game-winning shot against Dallas last night. He said, "That's my pal. He's an animal." He said Tracy shut that crowd up. He said, "I was really embarrassed. I have a lot of pride after game 1. I was very embarrassed. I'm going to silence that crowd tonight."
He's got time. It's 3:17 to go in the second quarter. Ray Allen goes out of the game having scored 12, and Luke Rittenauer coming back in.
They may bring Luke Rittenauer in just to play defense on Bibby. He's the one that's done a great job over the first 2 games.
Right now, Bibby is on Rittenauer on that particular matchup as we approach the 3-minute mark in the half. Collison and Rittenauer out. Bibby is guarding him. James and Corliss Williamson on him, giving up several inches, and James takes advantage.
But right now, James has some skills on the low box. If you let him get a deep catch, he can score. Right now, he's playing with Corliss Williamson, giving up 5-6 inches to him.
And he's hit all 3 of his shots. Here is Williamson with a high arcing jumper, and it had to be that way to get it over the huge James at 7-1.
Well, the advantage for Corliss is going to be his speed and quickness versus James.
Corliss Williamson, once the 6th man of the year in the NBA. 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. It's an 8-point lead for the Sonics. They've led most of the way. And it looks like James, it's a coming out party for him in this series. Many people wondered, well, could he do it again? And so far, he's having a good game.
Tell you what, those moves look spectacular. Very efficient.
And Mobley misses, and Corliss Williamson off the offensive glass draws the foul.
Well, he's his quickness to get to the boards. And again, he needs a scorer. If Corliss gets a taste, if he gets a couple of jump shots and a couple of free throws, they start giving him isolations on the wing. He can take big guys off the dribble. And, they may need to go to that to try and get Jerome James out of the game.
All right, Collison with his second foul. Williamson on the line. And right now, let's check in with Ernie Johnson in our studio.
Thank you, Dick. Coming up at halftime, Charles Kenny and Magic will be here to break down the first half, and you will hear from a very disappointed Allen Iverson searching for answers as Philadelphia is down 2-0 against the reigning champion Pistons. Now back to you, Dick.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. Looking forward to our halftime report, as entertaining as it always is. Williamson missing the front end and trying to cut the deficit to 9. And he does. The Sonics won 3 out of 4 in the regular year as Brad Miller is on the bench right now. And Miller, starting tonight, has scored 6 points in 15 minutes.
The Sacramento is going to a zone right now.
Rittenauer missing the 3, and Thomas getting the rebound. Kenny Thomas, a very sound all-around player, goes unnoticed.
But Thomas, the guy for his size, he averaged a double-double a year ago.
And Bibby hits a 2-point field goal, so Mike Bibby may have found the mark.
You do not want this man getting hot. You know, right now he's nailed his last 2 jump shots. He starts feeling he gains his confidence back. It's going to be a long night for Seattle.
10 points for Bibby, who was only 1 for 16 and was 0 for 9 in the first half in game 1.
Basically, Sacramento's doing a good job right now. They felt like with Ray Allen out of the ball game and the big guy coming back in, James in the low post, that by zoning up they can take that play away.
Only 1 second remains, so it's going to be a quick situation coming up for the Sonics. Ray Allen on the bench has scored 12 points on 4 for 8 shooting. Lewis gets it off, and it was deflected and it never hit the rim, and so the shot clock violation gives it over to the Kings, and Kings try to make a run here before intermission.
Well, they're just trying to change up the defense right now by playing zone. They got to run the clock all the way down and did a great job of defending that inbounds play.
7-point lead for the Sonics. And Bibby starting to feel it, has 10 points to lead the Kings. And Bibby driving in, double team, try to get it behind to Thomas, out of bounds. So the double team, but Bibby just couldn't get it to Thomas to make the play.
It was too bad because Bibby drew the defense, had him beat, was trying to make the play to Thomas, and Thomas just came in on top of him, didn't get in the spacing he needed to make the play.
Too close.
Exactly.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Get in the zone again. The only long-range shooter is Lewis that they're trying to pay attention to.
And Daniels going up and foul. Corliss Williamson committing the personal on Antonio Daniels.
They ran a pick and roll high there, and the high man in the zone on the weak side did not stay. He floated out to the corner with Daniels. So right here they run pick and roll on top, and as he comes across, there's nobody there. Mobley should have been there to stop the penetration.
Do you see anything different that the Sonics are doing tonight that they didn't do in game 1 on Saturday?
Well, they're making some shots. I mean, you know, you've got Radmanovic who's come in and has made some shots. They're getting penetration. They're still taking care of the boards, where that's where they had their advantage all year long. And right now, actually, Jerome James, you know, low post moves, giving them some extra offense again for a second straight game.
And Daniels making 1 free throw, and the rookie Damian Wilkins, who came in and didn't do badly defensively against Bibby.
Last 2 possessions here, real important with Sacramento trying to get this lead down going into halftime.
And there is Mobley going in, blocked by James. Latino Mobley blocked by James, who had 5 blocks in the opening game, feeding Rashard Lewis inside, and he's fouled.
That is a big play. We're talking about going into the halftime, trying to cut this lead down. Mobley does a nice job of attacking the rim, and James does a great job of coming up with a big block and then turning it into a fast break opportunity the other end for Rashard Lewis to get 2 free throws.
So here's Lewis with 6 so far in the game.
Again, Rick Alleman's going to come back with Brad Miller for his last possession to try and be able to stretch the floor defensively.
So Miller comes into the game, and Corliss Williamson goes out. They'll bring in Bobby Jackson as well.
Going very small right now. Right. Stojakovic's going to be the power forward. They have all shooters on the floor. You're probably going to see an isolation up top for either Bibby or Mobley.
Pretty good shooting team. Stojakovic, Mobley, Bibby, Jackson, and Miller.
You would think so.
All 5. And the offensive rebound taken down. And it'll be last touched by the Kings, so the Sonics keep possession. And a 20-second timeout called by Nate McMillan. And we'll take a timeout with just under 25 seconds remaining, and the Sonics trying to make that last point. The famed Space Needle here in Seattle, and the final seconds of the first half, and the Sonics with the ball and a 9-point lead. Seattle winning the Northwest Division, their first division championship in 7 years, making the playoffs after a 2-year hiatus.
This has not been the way Rick Allen was hoping to close out this quarter. The Sacramento Kings had a couple of great opportunities. Mobley going to attacking the rim, and a great block by James, and then missed free throw down this end is a killer for a coach when the opponents come up with an offensive rebound off of missed free throw.
And now Seattle can play for the last shot of the first half. Ostertag has come in for the Kings. Ridnour out of the point, guarded by Jackson. James setting a screen for Luke Ridnour. Goes up, and James with a putback.
Well, again, they put Ostertag in the pick and roll, and nobody picked up James rolling down the rim as Ridnour missed the shot.
5 for 5 for James. 10 points. Final seconds. Bibby trapped in the corner, and that'll do it. So Sacramento came within 7 points, and the Sonics came back and will take an 11-point lead, shooting 51% from the field.
Great closeout by the Seattle Sonics here tonight. Great block by James. Great finish by James. Again, he's proven to be the star for two games in a row.
And Ray Allen with 12 points, the leading scorer for the Sonics, and he's with Susie Schuster.
All right, Dick, thanks. What's the difference in your team tonight?
I just think we're continuing what we did last game. Jerome is aggressive on the glass. Reggie's aggressive. Vlade came out and he played well for us earlier. I think that is a big difference. You
mentioned that the bench is playing just fantastic tonight. How impressed are you with them?
It is, because they want to take me and Richard out of the game, and Vlade came out and hit some big shots for us early. Antonio's playing well, so we got a lot of things working, and that's definitely good to see.
All right, thanks so very much. Let's now go to Ernie in the studio.
And leading at the half by a score of 55-44, Dick Stockton, Mike Dunleavy, great coach of the LA Clippers with us, and you know, the Sonics had 55 points in game one, had the lead, but this is where the Kings started to make inroads in the third quarter, but they have a tall task ahead of them, Mike.
It's going to be tougher this time around. You got Jerome James going 5 for 5. I mean, Nate McMillan never ran plays for this guy. In the second quarter, he saw him run 2 big plays down the stretch, and he delivered against a smaller lineup.
All right, and right now, let's take a look at tonight's Jeep game summary, and the Sonics at 51%. And Kings still looking for their first 3-point field goal, dominating off the bench, off the boards, and going to the line a lot more as well. And let's check in now with Susie Schuster. Sue?
Well, Dick, Rick Allen told me before the game, this has been the strangest year in the 7 years he's been with the Sacramento Kings. The Weber trade, injuries, Cuttino Mobley coming in late, and then, of course, Brad Miller breaking his leg. It's a whole new group for this coach. He's been questioning who they even are. And Charles Barkley said at the half, this team misses Chris Weber. Guys, what do you think about that?
Well, I know Rick Allen thinks that they're going to be a much better team without Weber for next year. He thinks the guys they brought in are going to help them a lot more based on the fact that, you know, Chris had an injury for them. I mean, I agree with Charles that, like, right now, if they had Weber, the continuity, the guy knows the system, great passer that he is, he'd probably be playing a lot better here than he is in Philadelphia.
But you're right. You got to look at the future, and you know that the Sacramento Kings have been knocking on the door. They really have been bridesmaids. Went to the Western Finals one time in 2002, and you know, now they have to start thinking of maybe going to a different format. That was behind the deal. Allen going inside to James, and underneath Evans with the field goal and the foul. So no foul called inside on the bang for James, and Evans with a chance for the 3-point play.
Say right now, it was great execution. The pass from Jerome James, you know, to Evans underneath the basket was terrific. I mean, Ray Allen hit him with a nice shot. The defense stepped up and stopped James. James made the nice touch pass, and great finish by Evans.
Peja Stojakovic with the foul. Stojakovic had 8 points in the first half of the Kings. Free throw is missed, and a lane violation is called, and that will be against the Sonics, so it'll go over to the Kings, and a foul called against James on top of all that. So it'll be Sacramento ball inbounding. So Brad Miller, who played 15 minutes, 6 points. Remember, just coming back from that broken leg, in the lineup as we start the second half.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think he may just called a violation on James. I'm not sure he called a foul.
I'm not either, and I will say that it was a lane violation and not a foul. Stojakovic, and the offensive foul as Evans is knocked down by Miller, who is complaining to Bob Delaney, one of the 3 officials with Bennett Salvatore and Sean Corbin.
It's a big foul for Miller. That's his 3rd foul. You know, they need to keep him in the game if they want to be able to stretch the defense and have a guy in front that can make plays. And Miller better watch out. Bob Delaney will hit him with a tee if he keeps chirping at him.
And that's not the way to start out the 3rd quarter, where the Kings made inroads. Remember, they outscored the Sonics by 10 in the second half. Down by 21, cut it down to 1 with under a minute to go before falling by 5. 8 on the shot clock. Ray Allen finding Luke Rittenauer, a 2-point field goal attempt. Stojakovic clears, so Rittenauer 1 for 8 from the field, but he's made contribution. Coming back, a wild 3 missed by Mobley.
Good rebound by James, a good outlet pass. Ray Allen's got some numbers. He's going to try and attack the rim.
And Allen is fouled by Coutinho Mobley. So Ray Allen will go to the line again. Allen thus far 3 for 3 from the free throw line. And the first foul against Coutinho Mobley.
Sacramento's defensive balance just hasn't been great tonight. You know, off that rebound, that ball wasn't cleanly taken by Jerome James. He was almost falling out of bounds. He had to save it back, and they still had numbers coming in transition.
8th in the league from the line at 88%. Ray Allen hitting the first and can open up a 15-point lead here for Seattle. Sonics won the NBA championship in 1979, their only title, and they had the same regular season record they had this year, 52-30. Jack Sigma, one of the forces on the team, and assistant for McMillan.
Jack was with me in Milwaukee, did a great job. Great shooter, 3-point shooter, free throw shooter.
Bibby, reverse layup.
Nice.
And so Bibby.
Great finish by Bibby. Drives it baseline, takes in the landscape, sees where the defender is coming, uses the rim to protect the ball, and puts it in.
Guard Lewis, and the rebound by Thomas. Bibby with 12, the only player double figures, Mike, for the Kings.
Well, he's doing a combination of ways. Getting to the rim, getting fouls, getting layups, and he made his last 2 long jumpers. So Mike Bibby's starting to heat it up.
Page misses a long attempt, the 3-point attempt. Allen coming off the screen, and they're going to call, let's see, Thomas and Evans, and they're going to call Evans, and now they whistle it off. Let's see what Sean Corbin will call at the line. It'll be a loose ball foul, and it'll be against Thomas. It'll be 3 on Thomas.
Yeah, I'm glad Sean changed that one, because I was trying to figure out how Evans fouled him with his back.
He had to do the bump and grind to commit a foul there. So Kenny Thomas with his 3rd foul. So Miller and Thomas each with 3 for Sacramento. 2 minutes gone by, 3rd quarter. Dick Stockton, Mike Dunleavy, Susie Schuster here at Key Arena.
Going to James back in the low post, trying to get that 4th foul on Miller, and he does.
And hit in the face, and now Miller complaining again. And technical foul called against Brad Miller. You know he was headed in that direction.
Yeah, you saw that coming a mile away. I mean, Brad's frustrated. The couple of his calls have been, kind of cheap, but playing after being out so long, the timing isn't there sometimes.
And he threw out his headband too, and he might have gotten another tee on top of that, but they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, the referees are going to show restraint here, folks. They're not going to hurt somebody. See, right here, he's got him bumped, and then James comes actually into him, and there is contact, and the referee deemed that he was on the move.
Hey, the Sacramento Kings, when they decided to get rid of James, should have given him more than a plastic bag to put his things in.
Should have gone Louis Vuitton. He wouldn't have been as mad.
He'd think highly of the Kings at this point instead of beating them as he is. Timeout. We'll be right back. 6, Lenny Wilkins, who makes his home here in Seattle, and a tremendous coach over the years. Jack Sigma, who was a key along with Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson for the 78-79 world champions, the Seattle Sonics. Their only title, Lenny Wilkins having his number retired along with downtown Freddie Brown and Jack Sigma.
And they had a great run to win that championship. Memories, flashbacks of Freddie Brown hitting those 30-foot jumpers. Clinch the title.
Tough team. And Wally Walker, who is now the president and CEO of the Sonics, was also a member of that championship team. One free throw made and matches the biggest lead of the game for the Sonics, 15. Three-point field goal by Coutinho Mobley. Remember, he hit the three to cut the deficit to 1 with a minute to go, trying to bring the Kings back.
That was good ball movement that time by the Kings. Bibby had a nice open look. Then he had a drawn kick to Mobley, who was sitting on that three and knocked it down.
First three-point field goal of the game for Sacramento. They're going low. Ostertag in there to defend James. And James scores. James can do no wrong. He is 6 for 6 in the game. And 13 points.
He's been, now 4 straight possessions where they've put him in post to score.
And then Mobley comes back, so Coutinho Mobley hitting 2 in a row. And Ostertag, who played the last 17 minutes of the game on Saturday and had been a big puzzle, hadn't contributed much all year, and was a factor in the rally. Here's Rashard Lewis working against Peja Stojakovic. Ostertag loses control of it if he had control, and it goes out to Ridnour.
Ostertag did a good job of coming over and bothering Rashard Lewis on the shot, but that means somebody else got to put a body on Jerome James when he goes to the rim.
And now Thomas is on James. Big size advantage, and he makes some pay with a turnaround from the baseline.
Cannot stop him. You can just hope to contain him.
2 games in a row, Jerome James. And coming out of nowhere, didn't average many minutes in the regular season. No basket, the foul before the shot. James averaged only 17 minutes in the regular year.
Dick, this guy looks real. This is not like somebody falling into some shots because double teams and getting wide open. He's showing some terrific low post moves from distance right now.
2 games in a row. Ridnour committed the last foul. Bibby claiming he was fouled. Throws up the air ball, and Bibby is called on the foul, and now he is upset. And right now, the Sacramento Kings are totally frustrated as they trail by 14, almost midway through the third.
Well, Bibby was saying he got tapped on the wrist when he was shooting the ball, and the frustration came through. Once he saw Ridnour as the guy with the ball, he's like, well, I'll show you a real foul.
So Luke Ridnour on the free throw line, connects on the first. Right now, let's see what's on TNT.
Executive producer Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks Television present a 6-week television event, Into the West, starting June 10th only on TNT.
And the Sonics with their biggest lead of 16 points, Coutinho Mobley. Ostertag with a follow, no foul. Thomas trying to save it. And does Mobley.
That should have been backcourt, I think.
He caught it in the backcourt. Thomas fighting. Here's Ostertag. And losing it to James.
You're a big guy, you're a big guy like Ostertag. You just got to tuck that ball. You just cannot keep dribbling. Bad things are going to happen.
And the crowd on its feet. Sonics outplaying the Kings. Rashard Lewis going out to Ray Allen, who was checked back in. Here's Ridnour for 3.
Big shot. What a momentum shot for them. Ray Allen did a great job of pulling the defense through him. And Ridnour is sitting on that 3, forcing Sacramento to take a timeout. Right here, see the drawn kick by Ray. He drew the defender Bibby in. He had no time to get back to Ridnour, who drains the 3-pointer from the corner.
So unlike game 1, when the Kings made a run in the third quarter, the Sonics have increased their lead to 19 with 7:13 remaining in the period.
I can remember feeling like, what now? I gave my best shot. I battled back from this injury when everyone said that I couldn't. Everyone said that, the knee was no longer strong enough to play basketball. And here I am now. Do I have to accept what they have told me for the last year and a half, that I can't play basketball anymore? I was advised by Rick Alderman and by some of the other people in management that I may want to pursue another career.
So James getting the job done for the second straight game.
If he continues to play like this and they win this series, Seattle's got to figure out a way to get him cut by the next team they play.
I think we'll have to look up and see who do they play next when they win. The Sonics, the number 3 seed, and the foul is Stojakovic trying to drive. Was fouled by Lewis, his second. And you know what? We got to really give everything we have on Jerome Lewis in this game, Jerome James. And we will have more on him.
Well, the big test for him is going to be whether he can go down to Sacramento and play this way, because that is one tough building.
Right. Susie, you have more on Jerome James.
Oh, I've always got more. He gives Nate McMillan all the credit for this turnaround. He said not at Florida A&M, not with the Globetrotters, definitely not with the Kings. He said, I never had a coach believe in me. Nate gave me a shot. He believed in me. He wanted me to get better. And by the way, Nate said, when you get a 7-footer who can run, you start believing.
I can't believe the Globetrotters didn't believe in this guy.
Yeah, I think they did, especially Sweet Georgia Brown, he must have. Here's James again with the turnaround air ball.
Well, he wants to keep taking it to the rim.
Bibby with 14 points, scoring 2 field goals in a row, and it looks like he's a more determined point guard right now. He's saying, look, I've had enough of this, because the Sonics dominated, leading 70-55, nearly halfway through this third quarter. And right now, 16 for Bibby, still the only player in double figures for the Kings. Ray Allen with the jumper. Allen with 17 is the game's high scorer.
So Brian Skinner coming in the game is a much more physical player, shot blocker, trying to put the stops on Jerome James right now.
Brian Skinner started at center in game number 1. Stojakovic is short with it. Skinner coming over along with Williamson and Thomas in the Chris Webber trade, but in the last 5 games has not produced much. And Rick Adelman said after he came here, played very well, his play has slipped. But Skinner is in there now, and the offensive foul is called against James, only his second.
Well, I think he knew it, before it ever happened. Right now, it's as much the point guard's fault. You got to let your big guy get set, and he kind of leans in there. And Mike Bibby's a very, very cagey player. He knew once he was moving, I'm going to accentuate this right here by going down.
Marius Sangala is in there along with Bibby, Coutinho Mobley, Ryan Skinner, and Tejas Stojakovic. Sangala with a fake. Evans doesn't go for it, but here's Skinner inside, and he puts it through. Determined to get to the rim, and the Kings make it a 72-57 game.
They're playing at a higher level right now, Sacramento is, after coming out of that timeout. Seattle's got it, and Nate recognized that right now. He's going to take a timeout. I think that's a very good timeout by Nate McMillan.
So you're ahead by a lot, 15. You don't want to see it get to around 11, maybe single digits, and then all of a sudden the Kings are on a run. You're right. Under 5 minutes to go in the third. Nothing over the Kings. Chance to check out NBA TV for highlights, breaking news, press conferences, and behind-the-scenes action during the entire postseason. Vladimir Radmanovic is out there. There's Tejas Stojakovic, only 3 for 10. Here's a guy who led the Kings in all 4 regular season games and in game 1 in scoring against Seattle, but only has 8 points right now. We mentioned Radmanovic, who was the early hero with 8 points on 4 for 5 shooting back in for the Sonics.
Stojakovic has done a nice job on the boards and also defending Rashard Lewis. I mean, that's a matchup you thought that would be a weakness for Sacramento.
Sometimes it takes off of your offense a little bit when you have to pay attention to that part of the game. Here is Lewis. Well, no one picked him up as he slams it through on the reverse layup.
All right, so forget that part about him playing good defense.
2 for 8. Only the second field goal for Lewis, so the 2 small forwards not lighting it up tonight, and a foul is called, and that will be against Radmanovic.
Right here, you see the pass on the backdoor cut to Lewis. He gets screened out underneath the basket and goes in and dunks on the baseline side. Good use of the rim.
Rashard Lewis has 8. Peja Stojakovic has 8 points. And right now, Mobley, along with Stojakovic, Skinner, Songaila, and Bibby, 8 on the shot clock. Here is Skinner going in, traveled.
Yeah, that was a good call by Sean Carbon.
So the look on Rick Adelman's face, and Rick Adelman, who belongs in the playoffs. This guy has led the Kings to their 7th straight playoff season. And they're going to call Songaila with the foul on Rittenauer. And it puts them in the penalty. And Rittenauer will go to the line.
Just a smart play by a heady point guard. He saw the big man jump out of him. He probably could have gone around him, but he knew he had him in trouble. He makes the contact and goes to the free throw line for 2 easy points.
74 to 57. And Game 3 Friday in Sacramento. Game 4 will be Sunday at Arco Arena. As you look at Luke Rittenauer, who was the 14th pick in the draft last year. And goes in the family as well, as his sister played basketball in Eastern Washington. He has 5 assists to go along with 9 points. More important, has not turned it over. Songaila off the rim. Skinner tries to keep it alive. And right now, the Sonics are taking it to the Kings. They've outplayed them. And by a bigger margin, really, than in game number 1.
Right now, you got Skinner on Radmanovic. Yeah, that one right there, Rittenauer should have given the ball to Radmanovic against that matchup.
Steal by Allen. Bad pass. Here's Lewis. And it dropped through with 3.5 minutes remaining. 21-point lead for Seattle.
Right now, Sacramento was missing a lot of good shots. I mean, I think when they get home, these shots will fall to them. This series will be a different story.
And Rick Adelman even said, I may not even know exactly what rotation I want until after the second game is played. Here is Mobley firing it up with 3 on the shot clock. Collison saves it. Did a little tightrope action and saved it impressively. And the crowd enjoying this one. And really enjoying this one as Radmanovic puts it through.
Again, that save and the big push by the Sonics down the floor. They had numbers and a great read by Ray Allen to deliver the basketball to Radmanovic for an easy dunk.
So the Sonics taking the air out of the sails of the Kings. And not much left for them. An 8-0 run, putting them up by 23. Being treated to a great show, and they don't need that banner tonight. The Seattle Sonics providing all the impetus for this crowd, and the timeout breaking right now with 2:55 remaining in the third, and the Sonics up by 23.
Rick Adelman's going to try and put a little more pressure. He's got 2 little guards in Eddie House and Bobby Jackson. Try and put some more pressure on the ball and see if they can find a spark. House is a pretty good long-range shooter, and right now, I think Rick Adelman is just kind of searching for something to lay his hat on.
Big shooting edge by the Sonics. Sacramento with only 1 3-point. Look at the free throws. 25-7 for free throw attempts in this game, favoring Seattle. Antonio Daniels coming in. You saw Ray Allen on the bench, and a steal by Daniels. He's got Songaila. Eddie House getting back as well defensively. House who began his career with Miami. Here's Lewis.
Good patience by the Sonics on that play.
And the offensive foul, and the Danny Fortson setting an illegal screen, committing the personal.
Well, Fortson commits a lot of fouls that are, really, ones that he doesn't have to commit. But that's as much the guard's fault. You got to let him get set before you go. He doesn't have both feet on the ground when he takes the hit.
House along with Bobby Jackson in the backcourt. Songaila, Skinner, and Stojakovic up front. Songaila driving against Collison. Blocks the shot. Good play by Nick Collison.
Good defense right there.
And a technical foul has been called against Fortson, I believe. And it is Danny Fortson, who's still remembering the foul called on him moments ago.
Collison did a nice job defensively right there on Sangala's drive, and they took possession of the ball, and next thing you know, Fortune comes up with the tee.
And you wonder, your team just gets the ball back on a blocked shot, and that play is over. And you kind of think you're thinking about yourself and not your team when you do a thing like that.
It's definitely not the Einstein play of the night.
Is that sponsored too?
Right here, he drives. Here's Collison, fully extended, nice block, very nice, right here. And then on the outlet, you get the call.
And Peja Stojakovic with his first point of this third quarter. And Collison, who went without the plastic mask to protect his broken nose, and he thought he re-broke the nose on game number 1. He wore the mask in the second half, and the x-rays proved no break, so no mask.
Well, he may need to put the mask back on because he just threw the ball to Howard Schultz on the sideline.
A souvenir for the owner. And if you can afford a turnover at this point, maybe it is now with under 2 minutes to go. 82-58 lead. Daniels guarded inside by House, feeding Fortson. Ran it out, and here's Collison again. Collison with 2 pretty plays on the offensive end.
Well, he's got a good nose for the ball, high IQ for the game. He got to the right spots and got 2 easy buckets.
Played under Roy Williams in Kansas, and Roy Williams is in the house as Jackson misses and out of bounds. And last touched by the Sonics.
All those guys leaving North Carolina may need to come back next year.
I wonder whether Roy wanted to recruit some people who still had eligibility from these teams. But of course, winning his first national championship after the long drought relaxes the guy. House coming off the screen, hitting.
That's what they brought Eddie back into the game for, right here, to try and get some instant offense, get some shots up, and try and bring more pressure up out front.
Nearing a minute remaining in the third, 24-point lead for the Sonics. Daniels rebounds Sangaila.
Right now, they're trying to go to Radmanovich in the low post against Jackson. They're going to get all kinds of good looks off the double teams.
Under a minute remaining, 14 on the shot clock. And nearly losing it was Bobby Jackson. Takes a wild shot. And here come the Sonics. And a reach-in foul called against Bobby Jackson. Jackson frustrated on the offensive end. Threw up a terrible shot and now committing the foul.
Really, I don't think the shot was so bad. It's just that his timing is off. And, he shot an 18 foot at 20 feet. So, I mean, I think he'll, it's one of those things where Rick has got to let him play. He's got to let him get his rhythm. He's got to let him find his shot, because if Sacramento's going to win this series, they've got to get their shooters into the game where they're playing with the rhythm and they're making the shots they normally make.
And on the line, Daniels hits the first. Stojakovic 3 for 10. Mobley 4 for 13. And here is Evans coming back in. Maurice Evans as Stojakovic goes out. So Peja with only 9 points, 3 for 10. But as you mentioned, he's done things on the other end. He has 10 rebounds and has played a pretty decent defensive game.
For Lewis, it was a strong player. He's 3 for 9 himself.
There's Bibby on the bench with 16. He has shot 50%, but was missing early. So a half a minute remaining. Darius Sangaila hitting from outside. 26-point lead, the largest, now cut to 24, 86-62.
Sacramento's going to go show his own his last possession right here. With Radmanovich in the game, you got to know where he is at all times.
Daniels slices in for the field goal. Daniels with 9 off the bench.
It should never happen against a zone. You're saying it's a zone, I'm going to make you have to shoot an outside shot, not go down the middle of the lane and score a layup.
Final possession, perhaps, of this third quarter. And Eddie House misses from outside. Crowd has to love it as the Sonics have dominated the Kings in the third, unlike game number 1 when Sacramento came out. Ray Allen can relax a bit. He has 17 to lead 4 double-figure scores. So after 3 here at Key Arena in Seattle, the score, Sonics 88, Kings 6. the Sonics have had the big edge in this game. Ray Allen coming back in the game, leading with 17. You want to look at the bench? Nick Collison a part of that. The Sonics have outscored the Kings 33-16 and out-rebounded the Kings bench 17-8. Huge edge.
Yeah, their bench has been the story here tonight. They play with great energy.
Sangala with Maurice Evans, Bobby Jackson, Brian Skinner, and Eddie House in there for Sacramento. Sangala backing in and over Collison to start the fourth quarter.
Sangala's got a nice medium-range jump shot. Mobility. They need him to give him some of that scoring.
In his second year from Wake Forest, Antonio Daniels inside, leading Fortson for the field goal.
Nice execution on that pick and roll.
Allen, Daniels, Fortson, Collison, and Radmanovich for Seattle. Skinner working his way in, getting the basket, and maybe in this fourth quarter, Skinner can start to get his game back, which is something that Rick Allen really would like to see.
Well, when they first brought him over, he had some great games, but he had not played at all during the season, and Rick thinks he just hit the wall.
Daniels using a Fortson screen, 7 on the shot clock. Allen, Radmanovich for 3. And a whistle, and a couple of the players, Fortson and Evans, are tied up underneath. Make it Skinner and Fortson.
Oh man, Bobby Delaney could have hurt his back trying to play Fortson.
Well, maybe Skinner as well for overtime. And a double foul has been called on Skinner and Fortson.
That should be a jump ball, I think. I mean, I don't think it should be, but what are they calling it? Here they go.
Who's going to argue with you?
Should I make the list now?
While you're taking out that legal pad with all those lines. Tip controlled by the Kings. Hey, the Clippers are tough for anybody now. And you did a tremendous job with this club.
Got a great group of guys that I'm really excited about next year.
Jackson hitting a 3. Bobby Jackson with a 3-point field goal. And that is only the second 3 of the game for the Kings. So it's still a huge 21-point lead, however, for the Sonics.
Right now, the job of the Sonics is not to let any of these big-time scorers get off here in the fourth quarter to make them feel good about themselves going to Sacramento.
And Ray Allen finding Radmanovich. And the shot clock expires. No basket would not have counted.
Radmanovich, he was trying to make the extra pass, but he had a wide open shot. He's a shooter. He's got to shoot that ball.
Vladimir Radmanovich in his fourth year from Serbia, Montenegro. Very close now with Peja Stojakovic. They have become close friends. And Radmanovich getting off to the early start after struggling in game 1. Remember, missed his last 19 games of the regular season with the fractured right fibula. Peja right now on the bench for Sacramento. And Radmanovich getting off to the quick start tonight. And right now has hit 5 out of 6 from the field. He was the early spark for Seattle.
Think Peja goes with the hairdo next game?
Anything to get back. And Rick Adelman, I guess, wants to check to see what the score was at the end of the third quarter, which we had 88-64, 88-62. Jackson on the pick and roll. Sangala with the field goal. Basket counts and a foul.
Jackson's starting to get his rhythm now. He made that play. Came off the pick and roll and surveyed the defense and makes the right play. A bounce pass through the slot, and Sangala takes the ball to the basket and gets fouled by Fortson before he gets set.
So Jackson with the assist has hit 4 out of 9 for 10 points in the game after going 0 for 7. Remember, out with the wrist surgery, missing most of the season, and a timeout again called by Nate McMillan.
Well, again, Nate's probably going to lose it, so he wants to get his guys into the huddle and let's get things set for the last 9 minutes.
And here's tonight's Marines teamwork play of the day.
You see Seattle coming down, passing into the low post here, trying to get the post. A double team comes from big man, and now comes Nick Collison, reads the opening, attacks the rim, and gets a nice passing for an easy score.
Jerome James has come back in the game for the Sonics. He has scored 32 points in 2 games and has really made an impact after really just going along during the regular season. The Kings have scored the last 8 points. Still trailed 90-72. Here's Daniels, and trying to follow was James, and gambling for the steal was Ray Allen, and driving in and the foul as Maurice Evans will go to the line to shoot 2, and a chance to make it a 10-0 run here for Sacramento. The foul is against Luke Ridnour.
Well, Ridnour had no choice but to take the foul once Ray Allen went for the steal and missed.
So Maurice Evans, who did not play, coach's decision in game 1 on Saturday. And Evans is seeing more action, playing just under 10 minutes.
Right now, Rick Adelman's saying, look, I'm not putting any of my main guys back in this game. I'm going to play these subs.
See what happens.
Try and see if somebody can, break out and give me something to go with for our next game.
Tomorrow night on TNT, the Spurs host the Nuggets in game 2 of their series, followed by game 2 between the Grizzlies and the Suns. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. 10-0 run for Sacramento, and I'm anxious to know your thoughts about the games tomorrow. We will when we have an opportunity, Mike, as Radmanovich driving against Songaila, the ball knocked away. First, let's talk about the Denver-San Antonio game. Very interesting with the Nuggets taking the win on the road.
Well, that had to be a scary matchup for San Antonio because Denver has all the components to defend San Antonio very well. I mean, they've got Camby and they've got all kinds of bigs, Nene to come in and combat Tim Duncan. And they've got Andre Miller and Boykins to play against Parker.
2 on the shot clock, and it was blocked. And here comes Jackson, who got a piece of the ball, feeding Evans inside with the layup. Keep in mind that when the Spurs won their last championship, they lost to Phoenix at home in the first game of the first round and came back and beat the Phoenix Suns and ended up winning the NBA title.
Well, right now, it's scary time for Seattle right now with this run that Sacramento's putting on them.
12-0 run. Radmanovich trying to break it. Long rebound, and Allen in a battle, and they're going to call the loose ball foul. And it will be against Maurice Evans as Rashard Lewis replaces Antonio Daniels. So the Sonics getting a little bigger now in their lineup.
Well, they're coming with all their shooters right now. Nate says, I got 8 minutes right now. I got to put some more points on the board. We got to stretch this lead back out.
Here's Ridnour, guarded by House.
Bobby Jackson doing a great job getting around screens on Ray Allen.
Lewis with the air ball.
I'm not sure that'd be my first choice about coming right back into the game and shooting a long jump shot.
12 straight points. Make it 15 as Eddie House hits a 3. So 15 straight points in a timeout. It's down to 11. And you wonder, is there any time where Rick Adelman says, look, maybe I'll go back and bring my starters in?
Well, right now, these are the guys that have got you there. You're going to let them continue to dance. So unless somebody gets tired and needs to come out of the game, he's going to let these guys roll.
Well, he's got the right combination. In only 3 minutes, the Kings reel off 15 points with 8:13 to go. Plenty of time. A 15-point burst has narrowed the gap. Sonics leading 90-79. Tomorrow night on NBA TV, the Wizards meet the Bulls in Game 2 of their series. Coverage will begin at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So this has been the story here in the fourth quarter of this game, which still has 8:13 to go, 17-2. They have not missed a shot of the Kings and have hit both of their three-point field goals.
Rick Adelman went with his energy group, and they're coming through with big dividends.
Skinner defending against James. He turns around and beats him. So they go with the surprise wild card. James is 8 for 10 from the field, and he has 17.
Well, that was a great call by Nate out of the timeout. He basically told Jerome James, look, I'm going to you in the low post. I don't want to see any fadeaway jump shots. I want you taking this ball to the rim.
Bobby Jackson hitting the jumper, and the 17 points that they have scored, 17-2, have all been by the bench for the Kings. And staying with the hot hand is Rick Adelman. Allen defended by Bobby Jackson, again looking for James. And right now fronted, trying to deny, is Skinner. And Allen hitting a three coming off the screen.
So nice to have a guy like that where the ball can just end up in his hands and the clock runs down and he just raises up and knocks down the three.
Always great to have a guy like that. 20 points for Allen. James with a block. Up to Lewis. Here's Rittenauer. In no hurry. Under 7 minutes to go. Rittenauer got free momentarily underneath. Gets it back from Radmanovic. Fires the three. And the rebound by Maurice Evans. Songaila with a jumper. So the Kings remain hot, even though the Sonics ended that 15-0 run.
Seattle took some chances in the open court defensively right there. They've got to come back and play solid defense. They can't be taking chances with steals in the backcourt, missing like they've been doing.
89%, a gaudy number, shooting for Sacramento in the fourth. The double team put on Rashard Lewis, fought through it, 5 on the shot clock, 4. And it's going to be Lewis for the 3. And Jackson the rebound. So a lot of those open shots not dropping now, and it's a 12-point lead. Plenty of time remaining. Here's Jackson for 3.
And that was right there.
And the offensive rebound by Skinner. And the whistle, House driving in.
Rittenauer did a good job of getting back to recover. He's had a lot of deflections in this game. Rittenauer on the drive gets beat, and House goes up for the jumper. He does a great job of recovering. The ball actually went off Eddie House.
And the jumper by House, and the foul is called against the Sonics. And the foul will be against Rittenauer, his 4th personal foul. And I tell you, he is a lot more poised and assured and not so wide-eyed tonight as he was in the first playoff game he ever played in Saturday.
Well, I think in the first game, again, he did a very good job on Bibby. He's doing a good job here tonight defensively, but that wasn't a great foul right there against Eddie House. You want to put him on the free throw line.
And offensively, he didn't make a shot in that game. Makes the first. Nick Collison will come in the game, replacing Vladimir Radmanovic, who goes out having scored 10. Collison with 8 points and 7 rebounds tonight.
Collison's giving a big lift off the bench. Again, he's bringing him back in right now to play against Songaila, who's been very active and very mobile. So Collison, who's doing a good job defensively out there, is in to play Songaila right now.
Look at the bench scoring. 16-point edge for the Kings in the second half, and it is a 10-point game. So they have cut 16 off of the biggest lead the Sonics have enjoyed tonight. Sacramento making a run with nearly 5.5 to go.
Again, right now, shot clock running down again.
And here's Allen looking up. He's going to have to fire it away. And stepping on the line was Lewis, and it'll go over to Sacramento. So the Kings staying with the 5 who have gotten it done, and a chance to narrow it to single digits. And Rick Adelman off his bench. It's getting interesting now.
Well, really, I mean, again, Rick was searching, and he may have found the answer right now. He's got these guys going really good, and the pressure is all on Seattle right now. The clock, is going against them.
Crowd chanting defense, and that's something that the Sonics have not had much of here, as the Kings coming alive for the first time offensively. The jumper missed by House. Rittenauer gets the ball.
That shot was right there also. That was a big miss.
5 minutes to go. Here's Allen. There it is again. Allen hitting 2 threes and really keeping the Kings at bay.
Great timing on the pass from Rittenauer. As soon as that ball hit his hands, Ray Allen stroked that thing in the hole.
23 now for Ray Allen. And Evans coming back, missing the 3. And Collison getting the rebound.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that shot by Evans. I mean, you got guys going pretty good. You want to keep going to the hot hand. Keep the ball moving.
There you saw Miller, Peja, and Bibby on the bench watching this one. Allen trying to hit another three. Songaila gets the rebound, pushing it up now. His House to Jackson, lays it in, and with 4:20 to go, it's 98-87, down to 11, and the Kings continue to put the pressure on.
Seattle's defensive balance has not been good here in the second half at all.
And Allen coming off the screen, staying with him is Bobby Jackson. They go now to James Lowe, 6 on the clock against Skinner. And no basket. Foul before the shot. And that is only the second team foul here in the fourth quarter by the Kings. It's called against Skinner. Luke Rittenauer will go out of the game and getting a big hand. Rittenauer tonight with 9 points, 6 assists, and no turnovers. And replaced by Antonio Daniels.
Right now, again, all these possessions are big. I'd go back to the James into the low post.
6 again on the clock. Allen behind his back. Ball knocked away, loses it. Skinner way ahead, and House trying to save it and see if he stepped on the line, and it would be Sacramento ball. So Antonio Daniels trying to intercept it because he didn't know where Jackson was.
Wow, that was such a big play. I mean, defensively, Bobby Jackson did a great job on Ray Allen, forces a turnover, and you've got 2 wide open Kings down the floor, and they couldn't put the pass on the money. Eddie House has to run from out of bounds to save the ball, and great hustle back by Antonio Daniels to stop the basket.
And the 2-point field goal by House, and it is 98-89. The last time the Kings had the deficit under double digits was the last minute of the first half. 3.5 to play. 98-89. This crowd a bit stunned right now and quiet. And here's Rashard Lewis posting up against Maurice Evans. And he's fouled.
Good call again by Nate. I mean, Rashard Lewis against Evans. That matchup is big time in favor of Seattle. We're going to force double teams to come to him, or we're going to get him in a good position in the post to get fouled or score.
So here is Lewis, who is 3 for 4 from the line tonight, and Sean Corbin getting an earful from Rick Adelman. Rick Adelman, never been Coach of the Year, 3 times a runner-up, despite making the playoffs in 13 of his 15 years. Is an NBA head coach and getting to the NBA Finals on 2 occasions.
It's really okay, because every time you get Coach of the Year, the guy gets fired the next year.
So you do not want that honor.
I've had it.
Oh, is that in L.A.?
No, in Portland. And then I got fired.
So you're against
that Coach of the Year stuff.
Coach of the Year stuff. I see what you mean. So it's an 11-point game again, 189. Winding down to 3 minutes to go in the fourth. And again, missing from the perimeter. Kings have not been able to work the ball inside much tonight.
No, and they don't really have much of a low post game. So therefore, I mean, it's all about penetration.
Collison on the miss. James offensive rebound.
James should put that one back in the basket.
Collison again. Tipped out. Collison has it knocked away. And a 3-on-2 break. Jackson for 3 hits. Bobby Jackson with a 3-pointer. And it's down to 8 now with 2:29 to go.
I think Seattle's got to stay the course. They got to go into the low post. Just go to Rashard Lewis or Jerome James.
And Jackson with 17. Are any of these Kings reserves get tired here? They've been playing a lot of minutes.
You've already passed, the point of no return as far as that's concerned. The guys sitting on the bench and sit there too long. These guys are going to have to play it out.
Daniels missing the shot at the buzzer. Skinner has it.
Another layup coming if he sees it.
He did not. He had it. Maurice Evans, 3 under 2 minutes to go. And the Kings making a big run here in this club. And Songaila turns it over.
Wow, that's a big turnover because it was really unforced. The pass was a good pass. He took his eye off it, and the ball went off of 2 guys out of bounds.
You can't afford mistakes like that when you have the momentum going your way. You're on the road down by 8, time beginning to run out, and a possession lost. So we'll take a timeout, 1:49 to go, and again, the Sonics trying to hold off the Kings, just as they managed to do in Game 1. Battle as the Sonics, trying to take a 2-0 lead, are up by 8 points, and a turnover moments ago Rick Adelman's team now on the defensive end. In the fourth quarter, Bobby Jackson hitting 4 of 7 for 10 points. And Eddie House with 7 leading the way for the bench for the Kings.
The changing of the guard for Rick Adelman was a big positive during the fourth quarter.
Rashard Lewis working against Sangaila with the hook shot. James trying to keep it alive, and Skinner doing a good job.
Skinner's coming and giving him a lot of energy, and again, they got a big body to go against James.
Minute and a half to go. Jackson way off on the three-point attempt. And Jackson has been in there with Sangaila, Skinner, Eddie House, and Maurice Evans. It's been the bench to make it closer than it was.
Jackson's going crazy like he was hit on that shot.
Sonics led by 26 at one point. Here's James with the short jumper. How about James tonight? 9 of 11 from the field, 19 points after a double-double in game 1. And the shot missed by House, and it comes out again. Jackson firing a 3. And the rebound by Lewis under a minute to go. And now the Kings living and dying by the 3. And right now they are going down with it as House commits the foul as the lead is 10. As Bibby and a lot of the starters, most of them have had to watch from the bench. They were way back, and the Kings bench bringing them close.
But the reality of it is, right now, Seattle's held serve at home.
Yes, that's
okay?
right.
And now Rick Adelman has something to go with. He can go back and look at film and find some positives from his team and talk about how his bench has played great.
Allen with the basket and the foul on the lay-in. And so Seattle putting this game away. And Ray Allen with 25 points off a 28-point first game for Nathan McMillan.
Well, Ray, he spins baseline, he attacks the rim, sees the defender come and takes the hit, and has a great presence of mind to switch hands and get a great finish. That may have closed the door right there.
No question. And you're right about what Rick Adelman said. He says, I may not know what my rotation is. I think he has a better idea of how he wants to go off the bench in game 3.
Sure. Now, so he hopes to go home, win his 2 games, and then change it to a 3-game series.
And Evans fouled under the basket. 105 to 92. The Sonics at one point were up by 26 points. And the Kings waited until the fourth quarter to put on their burst and cut the lead to 8. But the Sonics have raised the ante since then and will head to Sacramento with a 2-0 lead. Stojakovic with 9, Bibby with 16, Mobley with 9, Miller with 6.
Pressure's going to be a little bit too late right now.
Double team on Lewis, stolen by Evans. Jackson in the corner. Jackson has hit some big baskets, but missing some threes in the last couple of minutes. And that'll do it. The Seattle Sonics once again holding off the Sacramento Kings, who made a run in the fourth quarter thanks to their bench. But that'll do it, and the game is over. And the Sonics have defeated the Kings 105 to 93 and take a 2-0 lead in the best of 7. Allen with 26 leads 4 double figures. And Jerome James with 19 points.